I think I got my camera working. This is my video number one for my fitness chapter, my exercise and energy chapter. I don't know why I keep calling it a fitness chapter. You can't let some things go. So the chapter is really about fueling the body, the way we use the macronutrients that we eat to generate fuel. And for the most part, I'm not going to talk about protein because yes, you do use 5 to 10% of your calories per day do come from dietary protein. But that should not be the primary fuel source for energy. You don't want to burn the 2x4s that keep you home up in a wood stove in Wisconsin, right? You don't burn your home, you burn logs that are outside, specially saved to burn in your wood stove. All right, if I can get this to work. So why are we active? Why are we recommending you to be active? Again, this is not a kinesiology class. I do teach sports nutrition, but there are things that being active does for you. A couple things that we really like. It's hard to lose weight if you don't have confidence. We know that. And Sylvia Tara, who wrote my favorite book, The Secret Life of Fat, she talks about developing a life of discipline, doing laundry every week, getting up early, participating in consistent, reliable exercise, and it builds in this pattern of discipline. It's the same kind of thing with activity. If you find yourself active every day, it builds in discipline into your life, which can carry over into your eating choices. So we know that. When it comes to burning calories, well, you haven't learned it yet, but you're learning it now. Muscle does the burning. And who has the most muscle? Fit, active people. So the more active you can be, the more burner of calories you can have. We worry about calcium intake for bone density when you're older. But if you're physically active, that helps a lot as well. When we talk about frailty in the elderly, being physically active helps to prevent frailty. Things that affect things that might drive eating disorders like anxiety, depression, body image issues, being physically active and trying to become as fit as possible alleviates some of those drivers of eating disorders. Sleep. Exercise is really good for maintaining sleep regularity. When we get into weight, undersleeping promotes weight gain. And then the other ones that I have on the screen, we've already talked about, right? LDL, HDL, your blood sugar management. You should know by now those are important things for long-term chronic health. Being physically active drives muscularity. Muscularity helps to improve your blood sugar. It may lower your bad. It may raise your good cholesterol. So the benefits tie right into our class, and they will in the coming weeks when we cover different material. This is, a slide I created many years ago. I think for people who are intimidated, becoming more active in their lives and adding some consistent daily exercise, we have a bad habit in America of pushing dairy and meat. I've said that in my in classes a zillion times. But the way we view exercise, it's either all in or you're not. You see these people on YouTube, they're extremely fit, they're doing cross training, high intensity training, and that's great, folks. And you're going to be really fit doing that. But your instructor's opinion is it's not sustainable. You just can't live this way. You get bored, you get exhausted, you get an injury. I lived in Europe when I was in the service. You see a lot of fit older folks just walking. There's nothing wrong with walking. If you can't walk, swimming or doing, an aerobics program in the pool or whatever you're limited, if you have limited mobility. But as long as you're consistently active, that matters. This idea of this super high intense fitness, everyone has to be The Rock. There is only one Dwayne Johnson, and that's what it comes down to. And until Americans realize that, we're all going to be lost and get caught into this vicious cycle of, I got to be super active, but then I get bored or I get injured, and now I'm eating a lot again, but I'm not active. So it's an opinion of mine that it's perfectly acceptable to be consistent with low intensity, highly sustainable activity. So when it comes to burning fuel in the body, you're doing it really two ways. Either you have enough oxygen and you're comfortably watching TV or going for, look at these fit folk, and going for a jog, or you don't have enough oxygen. That's called, so aerobic is when you have enough oxygen. If you take an aerobics class, it might last 40 minutes to an hour. The reason why it lasts 40 minutes to an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, is because it is aerobic, right? You've plenty of oxygen. No one's passing out due to lack of oxygen. Anaerobic are different kinds of sports. That's where we find things like running, high intensity running, basketball, soccer, where the body does struggle for oxygen. And the reason why we care about these two different conditions, cycling uphill or versus going for a jog, when you can comfortably use oxygen, you're burning with oxygen fat and carbohydrate. When you are not comfortably able to get oxygen, running uphill, hiking, swimming underwater, wrestling, boxing, literally when the bell goes off in boxing, the boxers almost fall into each other. They're that winded. Those kind of exercises, you don't burn anything because you don't have enough oxygen, right? You burn wood with air, not without air. So that is a different kind of system. That's a conversion. And what we do is we actually convert carbohydrate to a product called lactic acid, and that kind of maintains the cycle. So the two major energy systems are aerobic, sitting in class, watching this video right now, watching Disney shows, Game of Thrones, whatever, comfortably using oxygen, or anaerobic, doing things like sprinting, underwater swimming, lap swimming. Anytime where you're really hurting for oxygen, you're anaerobic, and you're not burning, you're converting. And then finally, I want to end on this slide. So what is the energy that we're talking about for this chapter? It's a molecule called ATP. ATP is literally made by using energy from food. So your body disassembles things like fats, fatty acids, and glucose. And all the energy that's caught in those bonds between the hydrogens and the oxygens and the carbon in all those organic molecules that we showed already this semester, there's energy there. And what you do is you steal it from the food macronutrients, the fat and the carbs, and you dump it onto this holding protein molecule. We don't just make one ATP. We make trillions of them. They're basically a molecular debit card. You make a trillion of these by taking the energy in the food, sticking it on this molecule, and then spending it. Spending it to do what? To make things. You want to make a dipeptide. I don't know why this little bond's kind of messed up, but if you want to add amino acid A to amino acid B, glucose to fructose, that takes energy. And the gluing part is right here, the energy. So we take this molecule of ATP, we actually break off this thing, it's called phosphate. We break it off, we use a little bit of chemical energy that we stole from food, and we stick it onto this one. If you want to release glucose between meals, remember glucagon, released by the pancreas, goes to the liver, tells the liver release glucose. Snipping off a glucose from the body's glycogen stores takes energy. Where do you get the energy? Well, you steal it from ATP. Where did ATP get the energy? From your macronutrients. So it's kind of like the debit card. You break down the food, put your energy on the debit card, the ATP molecule, and spend it doing everything in the body. As you're watching this, I don't know what, maybe you're burning through 1 million ATP debit cards per second. Seriously, amazing stuff. And that's video 1.